Good morning, this is Nuciference. Today we'll be learning about all the animals you can legally keep as pets in India. And to help you avoid such situations, we'll also be identifying animals that cannot be legally kept as pets. This video is based on consultations with wildlife rescuers, professors, government resources, and other credible sources. But there is still a chance that I might have messed up somewhere. And if that happens, please make sure to correct me in the comment section below. And also check the description and the pinned comment for any updates. First, let's clear the concept of what makes an animal a pet. And according to Google, a pet is a domesticated animal kept for companionship, not for work or food. This distinction is crucial as animals used for livestock and for labor come under an entirely different subject and are outside of our today's discussion. Owning a pet is a significant responsibility, requiring time, money, care, and most importantly, knowledge. Unfortunately, India's pet laws are still evolving, leading to frequent violations that harm both animals and humans. I hope this video provides a comprehensive guide to address all your questions about pet ownership in India. Disclaimer please. There are no dedicated laws in India solely governing pets. Instead, we have a negative list of animals that cannot be kept as pets. So, let's begin by learning which animals are illegal to be kept as pets. In India, all native wild animal species are considered government property and hence protected under the Wildlife Protection Act 1972. Even if their name is not explicitly listed in any of the 4 schedules, this includes creatures as small as beetles, sea slugs, squirrels, or crows. The law also bans possession of animal body parts such as feathers, skins, or shells, and products made from wild animals. Even imported items like ivory or crocodile leather are prohibited in India. To sum it up, a citizen of India cannot catch, collect, own, sell, import or export any animal or animal body parts or products made of wild animals without a valid permit or license. In order to understand this better, we'll be taking a look at all the major animal phyla and classes commonly considered as pets. The first is of course Porifera, also called as sponges. Sponges with their vibrant shapes and colors are a popular choice for marine aquariums. While a few freshwater species do exist, they are often considered hitchhikers in the hobby. However, in India, even dead sponges are protected and cannot be collected or kept. Then we have Nidaria, which includes animals like jellyfish, corals, and sea anemones. Corals and sea anemones are widely appreciated for their beauty and are often kept in aquariums worldwide. But in India, owning live or dead specimens of these magnificent creatures is strictly prohibited by law. Ctenophora, also called as comb jellies. Comb jellies, known for their bioluminescent glow, are mesmerizing to watch but are far too delicate for captivity. Platyhelminthes, also called as flatworms. Marine flatworms with their vivid colors occasionally make their way into aquariums, but they are far from mainstream pets. Nematoda, also known as roundworms. Roundworms are the opposite of pets. Most are parasitic and something you should actively avoid for your sake and your pets. Of course, all 3 by their very nature are unsuitable to be kept as pets. There is no sense of companionship to be felt in having an itchy pinworm at your rear end. Then comes the familiar Annelida, which includes segmented worms like earthworms and leeches, which are seldom considered pets. They are occasionally kept for educational or medicinal purposes, but with dissection now banned in Indian universities, that's limited utility in keeping them. And yeah, keeping earthworms in vermiculture is not considered raising them as pets. Mollusca, which includes animals like snails, clams, octopuses. Snails and octopuses are admired for their aesthetics and intelligence. However, even small-scale collection from the wild can have devastating ecological effects. I'll explain that later in the video. Arthropods. They make up the largest animal phylum. Butterflies and beetles are collected for their beauty, while hermit crabs and tarantulas are common pets. However, in India, collection of any stage of arthropods, whether eggs, larvae, or adults, requires permits, even for research purposes. And then comes Echinodermata, which includes animals like starfish, sea urchins. Starfish and sea urchins are loved for their unique appearance in marine aquariums. However, their collection, whether live or dead, is strictly banned in India. Hemichordata, which are called acorn worms, Econworms, though fascinating for their role in sediment filtration, are rarely kept as pets. But at this point, you might have already guessed it's ban. This is the phyla which we belong to, Chordata, which includes vertebrates like amphibians, reptiles, birds, and mammals. And they might seem like the obvious pet choices, but in India, keeping native wildlife like squirrels, bullfrogs, and native turtles are all illegal. And of course, don't even think about birds and mammals. Continuing, animals popular in the pet trade internationally but are native to India like tokay gecko, leopard gecko, or actual leopards itself. Even if they are captive bred specimens from outside the country, they cannot be imported or kept. When it comes to fishes, fish keeping occupies a unique position in India. Fisheries contribute to around 1.07% of our GDP, and this hobby supports millions of livelihoods. A blanket ban is therefore not feasible and practical at all. We also enter a bit of grey area since fisheries overlaps with departments like Ministry of Alo, Lelo, Kande, Lelo, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, and Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry, Dairying, and almost all of them promote native ornamental fisheries through various schemes. The current consensus, as far as fishes are considered, only the species prohibited in Wildlife Protection Act are banned. For freshwater fishes, this is all species of pipe fishes, Channa barca, and Enigma channa golem. For marine fishes, such as sharks and rays, reef fishes, sea horses, etc., there is a detailed list in the description below. State level rules also exist, such as Kerala's ban on wild Denisoni barb collection. Although commercial breeding has made legal trade possible since then, sustainable practices like these could pave the way for ethical fish keeping in India. Exotic pets and site loss. For non-native species, animals listed under any of the three CITES appendices are illegal to be kept as pets. Also, invasive species like African catfish are banned due to their ecological threat. However, species like red-eared sliders remain unregulated despite their harmful impact. Hopefully, we will have better laws in the coming future with increasing awareness, as it is an extremely huge issue which remains superficially addressed in the Wildlife Protection Act. As in the case of Kerala's Denisoni barb, since wildlife loss comes under the concurrent list, both the center and state can formulate law banning animals in their jurisdiction, and different states might have different rules for the same animal. So it is your responsibility to research on the species of animal and the local laws before buying them. If you find an injured animal or suspect illegal pet ownership, contact your local wildlife authorities instead of taking matters into your own hands. Here's a sample test for you to take part in. The following clips are all from various places in India. We will be identifying all the illegal animals openly kept as pets in these videos, and we will also be rating them later in the video. Then moving forward to what animals then can you legally keep as pets in India. All domestic animals such as cats, dogs, goats, chickens and ducks are completely legal in India and in many ways are entirely dependent on humans for survival. Even farm animals like pigs and cows are highly intelligent and can make excellent companions. However, certain local laws may require registering pets like dogs with municipal corporations. Also, there was a recent committee recommendation prohibiting the import, breeding, and sale of dangerous dog breeds, including their crossbreeds, which was released last year. The advisory also called for sterilizing existing pets of these breeds to avoid further breeding. So far, only the Lucknow Municipal Corporation has implemented these recommendations. For exotic animals not listed under CITES, owners must register them on the Parivesh 2.0 portal upon acquisition. While many of you may argue against these stringent laws, especially when other countries allowed freer pet trade, I would like to say that India's regulations reflect a compassionate approach towards animals. Article 51A G of the Indian Constitution makes it a fundamental duty for Indian citizens to protect the environment and show compassion for living creatures. And we are given no fundamental rights to keep animals as pets. And also, just because you can keep the above animals doesn't mean you should. There are many challenges and ethical concerns. For example, many exotic species like huskies are ill suited for India's climate. Generations of adaptation to their native environments cannot be undone in just a few years. Many exotic species are often shipped over long distance and many die during transport. Only a small fraction survive the ordeal. It is also difficult to assess the population of many species not listed under CITES, so that increases the risk of unknowingly harming endangered animals. And every time you go for an exotic pet, it often fuels illegal poaching and incites conflict in the local community. And addressing the elephant in the room, at least 75% of pet reptiles, including snakes and turtles, die within a year of being kept as pets due to improper care. And no, the fish dying has got nothing to do with it taking away your bad luck. The only bad luck it faced was you putting it in a toxic glass tank. Labradors, which are supposed to be agile gun dogs, are becoming increasingly obese, mirroring their owners' sedentary lifestyles. And then there's also this troubling trend of forcing meat-free diets on carnivores that neglect their nutritional needs. And once most pets grow large or old, they are often released in the local ecosystems. For example, the invasive red-eared slider, hyphen pleco, and others have created ecological imbalances in India. Also about the small critters whose collection may seem harmless to you, but even a small snail collected and accidentally released in a region a little far from its habitat can have irreversible impact on the local ecosystem it is released in. And the exotic pet trade can lead to the spread of diseases like COVID-19, endangering both humans and animals. Artificial breeding practices such as those for ball pythons can result in severe genetic defects. And then there's always a high chance that your captive bred pet might be inbred. Also, captive bred animals have little to no conservation value and pose risk of genetic contamination, diseases and other such dangers if reintroduced into the wild. Birds like African grey parrots fly several miles a day in the wild, but in captivity they are often confined to tiny spaces, leading to physical and psychological problems. Handling animals can often cause them disease and death. I myself would not like to be handled by some unknown giants, let alone an exotic wild animal. Don't forget that domestication of animals took thousands of years, yet even today, they retain their wild instincts. Without proper training, they can still be quite dangerous. It is therefore quite naive to expect wild animals to make good pets. Pets should never be seen as mere possessions. They are companion animals, deserving of the same respect and care we offer our friends and families. Owning a pet is a long-term commitment that demands regular attention, exercise, mental stimulation. The financial responsibilities can be quite substantial. And behavioral issues like separation anxiety might require extreme patience and training. And then there's the millions of health concerns associated with many animals. If you're not prepared to meet these responsibilities, reconsider the thought of bringing a living creature into your life. Animals are not items to be used and discarded at will. Abuse or neglect is a serious offense, protected under laws like Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. Remember, you can always find other ways to boost your social status. Leave animals out of it. On the other hand, if you genuinely care for animals, there are more meaningful ways to support them. India has millions of strays in need of loving homes. If you prefer breeds, you can always go for native breeds, which are better adapted to local environments and are fast disappearing in the wake of fancy imported breeds. You want to observe insects and other small critters? Then you can build butterfly gardens, clean rivers, and plant native trees to attract more wildlife. This way, not only you, but the entire community is benefited as a whole. And isn't it much cooler to observe millions of animals in a park behind your house rather than that one measly caterpillar wasting away in your jar at home? Instead of collecting animals, dead animals, shells, or body parts, you can always document them respectfully and allow them to continue to be a part of the circle of life. You can help conservation efforts by adopting animals in zoos, donating to local wildlife NGOs, and advocating for more sustainable practices. We also need to be more vocal about strengthening existing laws and push the need to introduce new regulations in India. So, what happens to the animals seized here? Well, right now they are currently recovering after the abuse they have faced, and according to Wildlife Protection Act, they will be deported back to the country of their origin once they are declared fit enough to travel. And now for the answers of our test. Well, I hope you got a fair idea now. Remember, excluding domestic animals, the best way to love animals is to let them thrive in their natural habitats. Wildlife laws in India are constantly evolving, and hopefully, in the coming years, we will see improvements that address the grey areas and negative impacts of pet ownership. It's important to ensure that our love for animals doesn't harm them or their natural environments. Thank you.